one of the things I've been working on more than ever now is being the same person all the time, regardless of who I'm around. Being the same person in front of people. What's on the inside, it's the same that's on the outside. And that does take you to reform a lot of different thoughts, because there's a lot of times that we'll think something, but we won't say it because we it's going to offend that person, or we shouldn't probably share that thought. I wanted to be able to, what I thought on the inside, for it to be the same way that I acted on the outside. And, at first this was more of like, man, when I was, going out there and partying and drinking and doing all my stuff, like young guy, clubbing, all this stuff. And then I would go to church on Sunday. It was actually like two different versions of George, right? There was business George. There was party George. There was Sunday George. There was, in front of people George. There was private George. It was like all these different versions of George. And when you do that, you don't feel like you're really living an authentic life. And I wanted to correct that. I wanted to be the same person. I didn't want to have to turn it on. That was like, okay, good, time to turn it on, right? Time to be professional, time to be a leader, time to be a business, but then you're out of the business. No, why are you turning on and turning off? And why are there different versions of you? And it was just a weird thing. And I lived that way for such a long time, and I got tired of it. And I said, man, I just want to be the same person. I want to be the same person behind closed doors as I am in front of everybody else. I want to be the same person in terms of what I say, what I think, and I think about what I say before I say it, but I want people to know who I am. I don't want to hold back. I don't want to have to, and there are some people that it's like you tell them something and they can't handle the truth, or they don't want to hear the truth. There are some people that don't want you to disagree with them. They really don't want a real opinion. But even in those relationships, I realized, how can I still be authentic? How can I still express what I'm thinking in a different manner so that I don't feel like I'm having to hide my true thoughts? And that made me a better communicator. That made me having to be more bold in confronting issues or having difficult conversations. And then from there, just my choices that I made, what are your real, there's what you feel like in the moment versus what you really believe in, right? Your real character. And sometimes we make bad decisions because we're going based on how we feel in the moment versus being clear on our character. And then you feel bad, you feel guilt, you feel shame. And I'm like, why do I do anything that makes me think less of myself? And there's this great book by Miguel Ruiz called the Four Agreements. And one of them is don't sin against yourself. And the concept of sin is don't do something that makes you feel ashamed or makes you feel guilty or makes you feel less of yourself. And so, you know who you are. You know what makes you feel good. You know what makes you feel confident. You know what makes you feel like you're living an aligned life, like you're living your life aligned with your values. And you know what throws you off, and you know how you feel. And what happens in those moments when you get thrown off, that you're like, man, I shouldn't have done that, right? And most people live that life. I shouldn't have done that. That's their whole story, their whole life. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that. And it's like, at one point will you stop saying, I shouldn't have done that? And at what point will you start saying, man, I'm proud that I didn't, or I'm proud that I followed through, or I'm proud that I kept my commitment? And that requires you to go to war with yourself. That requires for you to go to war with this brain. This requires you to go to war with your past. This requires you to go to war with, maybe bad habits that you've continuously, poured into, that you continuously repeated. What is that for you, by the way? Is it anger? Is it envy? Is it lust? Is it alcohol? Is it pornography? Is it what is it that what is it? And I know some people are like, what did he just say? People do so many different things, guys, in the dark, and it's like that just kills your spirit. And I'm like, man, I just want to be a good leader. I just want to be a good husband. I just want to be a good example of a man. I just want to be somebody I'm proud to be. And so there was constantly all these different versions of George, and just slowly started making better decisions. And it wasn't overnight. My God, I thought I was going to get there a lot faster, and I should have, by the way. Some people do, and salute to those people. But for me, my journey is maybe taking a little bit longer. But you know what's awesome? When you really want to be that person and you start making decisions, what end up happening is these get closer and closer together. And along the way, by the way, you get, oh man, no, I dropped the ball again. Go, 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 go. Oh man, I dropped the ball again. Go, 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 go. I dropped the ball again. Go, 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 go. I dropped the ball. Okay. Why? And eventually what starts to happen, and I do believe this, I do believe people can make permanent changes when their reason to is big enough. They say people change under different circumstances. It hurts bad enough that they have to. That used to be me, right? I would change after a mistake. I would change after a loss. I would change after failure, right? Hurts bad enough that they have to. They believe enough, they learn enough that they know there's a better way. They learn enough. They learn something new. Or that they believe enough that they can. And I think the more you make positive decisions, the more you believe that you can sustain those decisions, and the less mistakes you make, the more that you believe you can make less mistakes. And so we did a training the other day, and it was, let's say somebody makes a positive decision, then they make another positive decision, and then they make a negative decision followed by a negative decision, right? So 2 positive, so +2 -2, right? 0. And you would think that you're neutral, but you're really not. I think in that situation, you're actually negative, because I think you've now created a belief system and a habit where you allow yourself to continue to make mistakes after doing good things, and you just believe that that's just going to be a cycle. You start to believe this is a normal cycle. And I was telling the team, I said, what you need to do is you need to start stacking more positives than negatives, and you need to start extending the time in between negatives, and eventually you could slowly eliminate these things. So then you go positive, 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 negative. And you're like, okay, I made a mistake here. Let me get back. Let me get focused. Let me get back on my diet. Let me get consistent. Let me get back to my schedule. Let me keep my commitments. Let me get focused again. Let me read my business plan. Let me get back in church. Let me get back in books. Let me get back into, okay, so then you go positive, 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 negative. Now, wow, man, 8 positives or whatever the number was, and wow, 1 negative. Okay, man, but you know what? It's okay, but you know what? Why? Now, if you're just like, well, I'm not going to do that again, or I'm not going to drop. No, why? What happened? What were the conditions? Why did I allow that to happen? What could I do so it doesn't happen next time? And you start being aware of what are the conditions that cause you, or that allow you to make that negative decision, or make a mistake, or repeat a bad habit, whatever that is. And the moment you start becoming aware of these things, like, these are my triggers, there's one that says HALT, hungry, angry, lonely, tired, right? Anytime I'm hungry, anytime I'm angry, lonely, I'm tired, man, I'm impatient. I'm not the nicest person. Okay, I got to be aware of these things. Anytime I'm lethargic, I'm not working out, I kind of get casual a little bit. Man, you know what? Anytime I stop reading, I haven't read the last 3 days, I haven't read, and my mind just lost a little bit of, okay, I got to really get this reading in every day. Or, man, you know what? I missed church, and in fact, I missed that word, and I missed that. It was just, I drifted a little bit, and then I you know what? Man, I shouldn't have drank that much, or I shouldn't have done this. Like, you start to be aware of what is causing you to fail. Those things are such a great thing to assess. And if you're willing to look the enemy in the eye, and you're willing to really understand who you are, then you could start to go to war with these things. And then you got to have a way that you go to war with them. For me, anytime that a thought comes into my mind and I don't want that thought anymore, I'll say, God, help me break this chain. God, break this chain. God, take this thought. God, I don't want this thought. And I instead, the old me would just allow myself to process that, stay in that angry, stay in that frustrated, stay in that bitter, stay in whatever that is. And I'm like, no, I don't want to process this way anymore. I don't want to allow this to live inside of me. Why would I want to plant this seed inside of me, water it, nurture it, fertilize it? No. This is not something that serves me. And I started being more conscious of that. So you got to have, a game plan. You got to have a game plan to start catching some of these mistakes so that these different versions of yourself can eventually become one version. So I hope this helped for those of you guys that are going through this yourself. Some of you guys, maybe you're not going through it. Some of you guys are. And if you are, by the way, it's normal. You're not the only person in the world trying to bring all the best versions of you together to be one person all the time, but it's totally doable. It just takes commitment, and it takes stacking more victories and eliminating losses. And if you can do that, you're going to eventually keep making so much progress. So keep it up. And if you found some value in the video, please subscribe, please like. We'll see you on the next one, guys. Take care.